Hey, what's up everyone? Hughes from ET Card Collector. Today is Saturday, so I did not go to a show this weekend. There was one down in downtown Dallas. I decided not to make that trip. Instead, I elected to go over to my favorite card store, S&P Cards, just down the road in Grapevine. I spent about an hour there, maybe not even quite that long, just looking through cards and talking to the guys. Sean and Gage, they're a lot of fun to visit with, and they know the hobby real well. I did pick up one card, and I will show that in a few minutes. This video is more so to give a VR response to a couple of other YouTubers and their subscriber giveaways that they did. I know I'm late to the party, but I just thought they were interesting questions and something I could share with others. So first off, Brent Richards asked a question of what is your favorite hobby moment? A little background, I started collecting cards in 1987. I was given the green Christmas set that year on Christmas Eve by my grandmother. I loved that set. I went through every card looking at the backs, fronts, putting them in a notebook real carefully, and still have that set to this day. It's one I won't ever get rid of. But my favorite hobby moment occurred this past summer. I had been seeing over the years national videos on YouTube, national pickups and tweets and posts on Instagram and all that. So this past summer I got to experience that for the first time for myself. Just being there around all of the collectors that I watch on YouTube, around other people I know, some friends I made in the hobby. Just the greatest moment, not really one moment, just over the course of the 3 days that I was in Chicago, just unbelievable. So much fun, so much that I had seen in the past that finally hit home in reality that I could see for myself. Just an unbelievable experience. In fact, we've already made plans to go back in summer of 26. While we're up there, we may catch another Cubs game and all that stuff. But going to the National for the first time was my all-time favorite hobby moment. The second question I'm going to answer was posed by JW's Dugout. He said, what was the first card shop or card show experience you remember? So I grew up in a town of about 10,000 people, and so we did not have a lot of card shops and shows to experience. However, back in the late 80s, there seemed like card shops in every town, and I was fortunate to have one to go to. It was downtown, and it was owned by a guy that coached me in middle school. And so I went in there one day, and I remember I was seeing what the second year Fleer Jordan card was doing, already going up in value. And he had a whole bunch of second year Scottie Pippen cards for real cheap. And I was like, hey, if Jordan can do this, then I know Pippen can too. So I bought almost what seemed like a full snap type box of maybe 25 cards. And I held on to those for a year or two. Obviously never gained much value. But I just remember going in there, seeing all of the vintage cards from the 50s and 60s and 70s, smelling the wooden floors. It was an old building, probably been there, I don't know, 125 years or so. And just being around cards, seeing packs, and all that fun stuff. So that was the first. Eventually that card shop moved closer to my house, where when I got into high school, I could ride my bicycle up there. And I would ride my bicycle up there with a buddy of mine or friends of mine, and we would buy packs. I always bought the Topps packs or the Fleer or Score, or something like that, because they were 50 cents a piece, whereas the Upper Deck packs were like, I don't know, $1 or $2. And so I would rather have, at that age, quantity over quality. And so I would just load up on Topps and Fleer and Score. We would go back home and we would trade and put sets together and whatever else we needed to do. So, but it all started with that shop back in the late 80s. So those are two questions I thought would be fun to answer, a little bit about my history of collecting and kind of where it got started. Now, as far as the card shop today I went to, like I said, I went up there and spent a little bit of time. They do have a little bit of vintage, not a lot. They mostly deal in packs and boxes. They have some $1 and $3 boxes, lots of supplies. But I did pick up a vintage card, and I'll show that now. So this is a 1952 Topps Robin Roberts. right here. And this is the black back variation, as you can see. I'm doing a Hall of Famer notebook through 75, so 75 on back as far as I can go. This is the first 52 I've picked up, and this will go in that notebook. Obviously, I'll never have all the Hall of Famers because there's a guy named Mantle in that set that I'll never own. But, you know, I can start somewhere and pick up as I go. That's the fun part of the hobby. You know, and who knows, maybe one day I'll win the lottery and can buy the Mantle. But I did pick up my first 52 there in Robin Roberts. And so I'll add that to my notebook there, and we'll just keep going from there. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you watching, and so long.